All right, we'll do it again. Welcome everybody, and welcome to our regular Tuesday, April 14th meeting of the Mason County Commission. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Under Sheriff Barrett, would you mind stepping in please and leading this?
Yes, I would. My pleasure. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, Under Sheriff, sorry to bring you in, but I actually consider it an honor to ask people to do that. And I saw you out there.
That's the way I took it.
I appreciate everything you do in your service for our community. Okay, we'll go ahead and begin with roll call, please.
Commissioner District 1, Randy Medlin.
Here.
Commissioner District 2, Tim Sheldon.
I'm in Olympia.
Commissioner District 3, Terry Jeffries.
Here.
Item number 4, correspondence and organizational business. Do we have any correspondence to come before this organization?
Yes, we do. Robert L. McDonald and E. Swoboda submitted applications for the Hood Canal Coordinating Council Citizen Advisory Group. Robert McDonald submitted an application for the Housing Authority Board. The Liquor Control Board submitted a marijuana license application for Mayflower Partners and a special occasion license for Rotary Club of South Puget Sound. And the Economic Development Council of Mason County submitted their first quarter report.
Thank you. Item number 4.2, proclamations, Volunteer Recognition Day. Commissioner Jeffries.
Thank you. The proclamation I'm about to read is pretty focused on emergency training and emergency services type volunteers, but I do want to acknowledge that so many volunteer services are done outside of that particular scope. Our planning commissions, all of our advisory boards, our mental health advisory boards, and so though this speaks to the emergency volunteer force, which Commissioner Medlin and I both have received training on, this community emergency response training, I just also want to recognize that there's a lot of ways people volunteer for this community. And as I've said many times, Mason County runs on volunteers, so we thank you. Proclamation of Volunteer Recognition Day. Whereas the entire Mason County community can affect positive change with any volunteer action, no matter how big or small. And whereas volunteers working in their communities utilize their time and talent daily to make a difference in the lives of the residents and visitors to Mason County. And whereas the National Volunteer Week, April 12th through 18th, 2015, all over the county, service projects will be performed and volunteers will be recognized for their commitment to service. Whereas experience teaches us that government by itself cannot provide all the resources needed to assist our residents and visitors who find themselves in immediate danger. And whereas our county's emergency volunteer force is a great treasure, and whereas Mason County emergency volunteers are vital to our future as a caring and productive region of the state of Washington. Now therefore we, the Board of County Commissioners of Mason County, do hereby proclaim April 15th, 2015 as Volunteer Recognition Day in Mason County and urge our fellow citizens to volunteer in their communities. By volunteering and recognizing those who serve, we can ensure a better, safer, and more secure community for our children, families, friends, co-workers, and visitors. And so I do also encourage anybody interested in community emergency response training, which is a valuable training, to be in touch with our emergency services department, and you'll be notified the next training opportunity, as well as the refresher courses. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jeffries. And just to point out, a lot of people don't even realize the things that they do in the community as volunteer work. I look just even in this room, and you look back in the back wall, how many of you I've seen at the Sheriff's Advisory meeting giving your input and being a part of that, and sometimes spreading the word. That's volunteering. When I look down at Tom and all the work that you do for the veterans and all the time even that you spend here, even when we disagree or agree, that's still volunteering into the community. And you, Mr. Bloomfield, you're all over the place in so many different ways, and you speak
I've
with...
been told that.
Yeah. But again, just thank you, everybody, because, you know, it is all the work and effort you put in that does make a difference in all of our lives and our kids' lives. So next, we'll go ahead and move on to our news release, which is Earth Day, Adopt a Road Cleanup Event. Melissa McFadge. We have an event.
Another volunteer opportunity for everyone.
Absolutely.
In recognition of April 22nd, 2015 as Earth Day, Mason County will host a one-time, no-commitment Adopt a Road event. Individuals, families, and groups are welcome to participate in this event by attending the open house and safety training on Wednesday, April 22nd from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at Mason County Public Works, 100 West Public Works Drive in Shelton, Washington. Information collected at the open house will determine the designated litter pickup locations, road teams, and schedule. Again, all to be determined by participation. So if you're interested in a one-time Adopt a Road event, come join us next Wednesday night. Mason County encourages residents to celebrate Earth Day all year long. Ways that you can do this include regularly servicing your on-site septic tank, attending a local plant sale and purchasing native trees and shrubs, planting a shade tree in properties on the Johns Creek watershed, working with neighbors to place dog waste stations in neighborhoods, conserving energy by using energy-efficient appliances and lighting systems, properly disposing of mercury-containing light bulbs and other items, researching and using environmentally friendly household cleaners, properly disposing of household hazardous waste, using the county pharmaceutical disposal program, and organizing a group to adopt a county road. For any additional information, you can contact Mason County Public Works at 427-9670, extension 450.
Thank you very much, Public Works and Public Health, for making this happen. When I first took office, there was a business owner who's heavily dependent on tourism who said, could you do something about getting the litter picked up? And you know, I think that the April time frame is perfect because it's right before our tourist season starts, and it's a great way to show that we're proud of this community and we welcome our visitors as well as just honoring ourselves. So I hope a lot of people will take advantage of this opportunity.
Well, and thank you to Commissioner Jeffries for working on the, she's been working on a lot of these type of things, this specific type of thing for the community. People don't come to our briefings to know that. So I just thought I would point that out. A lot of these things don't just happen by accident. There's a lot of work that goes on underneath it.
And the staff is
And
who
always
does
the
it.
staff. In actuality, we do nothing. It's always the staff. So, all right. Is there any further correspondence or organizational business to come before this commission? Hearing none, we will go ahead and move on to item number 5, which is open forum for citizens' input. Do you want to speak, or you want me to, let me do my spiel first? Because I got to make sure that is known. You'll be given an opportunity now to speak on any issue that is not on the agenda. If it is on the agenda, we ask that you wait and speak about it at that time. You'll be given an opportunity to testify or have any questions answered that we are within our power to answer. With that being said, if it is not on the agenda, please raise your hand, be recognized. You'll be given up to 5 minutes per person, but a 15-minute max, so please be brief. With that being said, ask Commissioner Bloomfield, would you please?
Yeah, Steve Bloomfield, 391 Southeast Dahman Road, Shelton. A couple quick items. One, it's been my honor and privilege to work with John Keats, both here at the commission level and also as a citizen. And I'll tell you, John, you're a real professional. And this community is a lesser place to see you leave. And it's a privilege and an honor to have known you and worked with you. And please, anytime you need anything, call me. I'll be there for you if I can. Seriously, it's really been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
For your service. The other thing is, I brought up yesterday in the briefings, but it's for the public, everybody in the county. The lease that the county made with Seattle Shellfish is starting to come to fruition. We're past permitting processes. We're to a point that this month we'll be starting to plant gooey ducks in that area, and we're also doing helping with the tribal harvest and harvest of the gooey ducks that are naturally occurring there, so we get a number and some benefit. Actually, some benefit back to the county out of that, and on with life, and maybe a little bit of income for the county over the years now. So success is hopefully moving our way here. And thank you for that consideration, and hopefully we can maintain that working relationship with business.
And some of the amounts that we've seen were pretty astronomical that are a possibility. Can you give us just a?
It's, yeah, if everything works out well, we're not talking chump change here, we're talking the $1 million.
Yeah.
So,
Imagine how many
yeah.
officers we can put on the street with something like that. Thank you for coming through with all that. A lot of that was, again, you and your volunteerism.
Mr. Keats was involved
Mr.
in that
Keats.
process.
Yeah. No, this is wonderful news for the county. It's another opportunity where some of the things that we own are actually bringing revenue back and not just sitting idle. As we're trying to also look at properties not to list for investment. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak? Tom, please.
Thank you and good morning, Commissioners. Tom Davis, 170 West Bushy Road. I did not know that John was leaving, and I'm really sorry to see that happen. He's just one of those great guys who get things done. Going to be big shoes to fill. Having said that, at the briefing yesterday, I was a little bit set back on my heels, as I think the Commissioners were, when the Sheriff had said that about 75% of the inmate population in our county jail is awaiting sentencing.
Awaiting trial. Awaiting trial.
Awaiting trial and retrial and sentencing, which I was kind of surprised at. I didn't think that we were supporting medical expenses and so on, 75% of the people. 25%, therefore, are actually serving their sentence in jail. I pulled the stats for the roster, and those statistics are very close. I came up with 62%, or 66 people out of the 107 people, inmates right now are awaiting trial and or sentencing. There's 163 failure to appear charges out of those 66 people. We have to be able to do something. We have to take another direction because these people are not yet sentenced. We have 3 Superior Court judges, which are very well paid, and my understanding was that we would catch up on this backlog. We have a couple of court commissioners, as you know, that also fill in and preside over therapeutic courts, and I think Judge Rich Adamson, he steps in once in a while and does pro tem work. What I'm getting at here is there has to be a better way. We have to have a better system. We cannot continue along these lines. There's not a 6 weeks that go by that you not hear either the sheriff or the Superior Court judges come down here and saying, you know, we need more room, we need, you know, more money for staff, we're understaffed, and so on. That's not going to solve our problem. The only thing that's going to make a dent in this problem, aside from prevention, is therapeutic courts. We are in a crisis situation at this point. And so once again, I bring to your attention that we need to have an open, honest conversation with our Superior Court judges. And we need their support in starting our mental health and veterans courts. Now, when I go down to visit a veteran in court, there's these 4 bays, these 4 holding cells, it might be 5 number of holding cells that are right in front of the booking desk. And those guys are off the wall. I mean, those guys are banging their heads up against the glass. There's all sorts of things happening that are not supposed to be happening. That's not the function of the holding cell normally. So what you have is a mental health facility going on at our jail. We all know that. So wouldn't it behoove us, wouldn't it be important to us to expedite this, to get these folks assessed and the help that they need on the state level as quickly as possible? And one of those things that we can do to help them and to help ourselves and to save a tremendous amount of money, as you know, the cost for these folks run in the hundreds of thousands of dollars just to meet their medical needs, would be this therapeutic court. Now, I've spent a great deal of time, a lot of money, and a lot of effort doing all the footwork I can to present this to the Superior Court judges, and I need to have an audience with them. We've gone through Commissioner Sauerlander, we met, I brought my resource team, actually, it's not my team, but they're available, and they have been very accommodating, both the WDVA, the VA, WorkSource, everyone. We have done everything we can possibly do to expedite this. There is, as far as I can see, no real reason to hold this up any longer. The sooner we do it, the sooner we can relieve some of the population in the jail, the sooner the people get the help that they need, and the more money we save. We cannot continue to grow our Superior Court and our jail system to accommodate this situation when there's other avenues available. So I'm suggesting that no more money be appropriated to the Superior Court until we get this situation resolved, until we have an open, honest discussion on how we're going to expedite these two therapeutic courts. It is the only carrot that the commissioners have. They are elected officials. They run their own shop, and I certainly do appreciate that. But we have to get this done, and that's the only thing that we have, is to tighten the purse strings. Right now, I have the sense that our therapeutic courts are going to be, the proposal is tied to more actual courtroom. We cannot wait that long. We had that one meeting a couple of weeks ago where we brought in a bunch of people. We did this resource meeting with Commissioner Sauerlander, and then the next meeting that's scheduled is 5 weeks away. 5 weeks away. There's nothing that can be accomplished that wasn't accomplished in the first week after that meeting. We asked, what do you want? We want a paragraph of what services we're going to provide. Those services, that has been done. There's no reason to wait another 4 weeks. This is not a can you want to kick down the road any longer. We need to save lives. We need to still prevent more the crime rate from the recidivism rate. We need to lower that. And you get my point. I'll start repeating myself, but it's very frustrating when you work so hard to get something done and you can't even approach an elected official in an open conversation, with the exception of the district court judge, who is very accommodating and has been very open to this. I need a meeting with the Superior Court judges. Thank you.
Before we go, Commissioners, anybody, either of you have anything to say? I've got a comment.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure either what's holding back. I've been kind of sitting back and waiting. I know that we appropriated some monies to get it started this year, and I suspect it's a space issue, but I think it's worth exploring and now diving in. Now, whether there'll be any more appropriations being requested this year to give us that carrot for this year is unclear. But as far as I know, the funds are there for everything else, the prosecuting attorney, the public defense, the court commissioner. I don't know what else is necessary, but I'm willing to look into it.
Can I just say one other thing? One of the Superior Court judges was here yesterday, and they said that the space down in Building 3 was not going to be appropriate for a trial room. It would be an excellent space for a therapeutic courtroom, a permanent therapeutic courtroom.
And one of the things, just listening to what you say, you know, I'm not prepared definitely to withhold funds. We'll see when they ask for something, but that doesn't seem to be the proper way for us to handle it, being that they are duly elected and separate. But what I can see is a possibility, and they don't have to answer us, but it would be nice if perhaps we as a commission could put together a briefing so we can get briefed on it from them and invite you as well to the table to perhaps have a conversation on it, if they're willing to, with all of us.
That would be wonderful.
Okay?
Thank you.
I just have one thing to say. Tom, I appreciate your comments, but they're made in a room where the judicial is not, arm of our county is not present. So I know that's an issue that you have, but it's nice. It'd be nice to have them in the same room to respond to some of the things that you're saying.
It certainly would,
I
sir.
appreciate that.
Yeah. So are you okay with asking to have that on agenda? We'll do that. We'll direct staff to ask for a spot to put on our agenda for our briefings the next week or two to try and make that happen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes?
It'll be citizen comment.
Yeah.
This is Citizen Jim Barrett speaking, not under sheriff.
I'd like to briefly echo what Mr. Davis said. I volunteer in the Veterans Mentoring Program.
See, I told you, volunteers.
Now, as part of that, we're seeing that commingled with drug court. You see that commingled with what one hope would be Veterans Court and what hopefully would become mental health court. My point is, from a citizen standpoint, I see the absolute value of all three of these things. From my job as the undersheriff, I've seen up to 15 people not serving time in our jail right now. And if that model holds even closely in the other two areas, we can help reduce the jail problem we have right here and there. Because as we said yesterday, it's $50,000 a month to outsource because of our capacity issues. To me, it seems very wise to utilize those resources in other areas that are helpful. And I think that's really what I want to say is the volunteering component and the other benefits systematically, it's where we have to go. So I thank you for your time.
Any other, anybody else wish to comment? Yes. Oh, we have staff all over the place coming in.
We have staff day. It's staff day. It's staff day here. Ross McDowell, Emergency Management Manager and also Information Services Manager for Mason County. I would like to say thank you very much for the proclamation for the Volunteer Day, going along with the National Volunteer Week that's going on. It is very important to understand that government cannot work without volunteers. Even though we are one of probably the first or second largest employers here in the county, we still need the help of all of our volunteers. I know that in emergency management, we rely on quite a few volunteers to help us out with different things that are such as the communication support teams, our duty officers programs, and also with our citizens at large that are going through the CERT programs, the community emergency response teams. They are all part of volunteers that are coming out and showing good citizenship and showing some pride in their communities. I'd also like to hear about the Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office uses quite a few volunteers with the search and rescue, with their support, and also with their chaplaincy programs. They have a lot of people that are willing to help, and I gotta say, coming from another community coming here, I see there are so many people willing to get out there and roll up their sleeves and come and help one another, that it's a very positive thing and it's very nice to see in a community. So I want to commend the community itself for stepping up and saying we can help ourselves and we will help each other as neighbors, as community members, and as good citizens of the United States. There's so many opportunities here for volunteering that I really like to see more people get involved. There's from the MRC, which is through the health department, through the parks department, there's a lot of volunteer opportunities there. There's opportunities all over the place, and we're working on trying to get that information out of where people can go, because there's a lot of people that really want to do this. So I want to thank you for helping us on that effort to get more volunteers in our government services. So thank you. Thanks.
Is there anybody else who would like to testify at this time on something that's not on the agenda? Hearing none, we will go ahead and move on to item number 6, which is the adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt the agenda as presented today to the Board of County Commissioners.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded for the adoption of the agenda as written today. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, the agenda is adopted. Item number 7, approval of the minutes.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the March 23rd, 2015 briefing meeting minutes.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved and seconded for the approval of the March 23rd, 2015 briefing minutes as written. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. Next, we'll move on to the action agenda. Before I go on, Commissioner, do you have a list of it with you, or?
I do.
Okay.
But I think that if you two read that, it'd probably come over, be presented better to the public.
Okay. So approval of the action agenda. All the items that are listed under the action agenda will be enacted by one motion unless the commissioner or citizen requests an item be removed from the action agenda and considered as a separate item. After this, we will go ahead and read each of the items to you. before you even decide whether to have something taken off, you'll be given an opportunity to ask a question. If there's a question you have that would help you to make that decision. But if you'd like to testify on it or have an opinion on it, then we ask that you have it taken off for a separate vote, and then you can stand at the podium and testify on the issue. With that being said, I will go ahead and read item number 8.1 through 8.5. Commissioner Jeffries, if you will read 8.6 to 8.9. Item number 8.1, approval of the resolution expanding the use of real estate excise tax 1 and 2, REIT 1 and 2, allowing this revenue to be used for operations and maintenance of existing capital projects. This expanded use expires on December 31st, 2016. Item number 8.2, approval for the chair to sign the contract with Montgomery Painting for the services to paint County Building Number 8 for an amount not to exceed $16,076.73. Item number 8.3, approval of the 2015 contract amendment with Capital Region ESD 113 and Mason County for Project Alert Enhancement in an amount not to exceed $4,634 for a new contract total of $34,634. Item number 8.4, approval for the board to sign a memorandum of understanding, MOU, between Mason County and the city of Shelton establishing the planning process under the Growth Management Act for the 2016 Comprehensive Plan Update. Item number 8.5, approval of the Veterans Assistance Fund applications for utilities, $1,026.50, and housing, $1,513 for a total of $2,539.50 as recommended by the Veterans Service Office.
Mr. Chair, item 8.6, approval to appoint the following citizens to the Mental Health and Substance Abuse Advisory Committee: Frank Takahashi, Esther Rowland, Kenneth R. Ganella, and Donna Durnford. 8.7, approval for the board to authorize Public Works to apply for the 2015 National Estuary Program NEP Watershed Grant in partnership with the Wildfish Conservancy due April 20th, 2015. Matching funds are not required. 8.8, approval for the board to set a hearing for May 5th, 2015 to receive public comment for the private line occupancy permit for William Matheson on Channel Point Road for water line and electrical for parcels 32025-51-00015 and 32025-51-00011. Finally, 8.9, approval for the board to authorize Public Works to use the Mason County Municipal Research and Service Center, MRSC, consultant roster to select and enter into a contract with a consultant to conduct stormwater modeling and prepare the Belfair Stormwater Basin Plan, grant number G1400542.
Thank you. With that being read into the record, is there anybody here who has any questions in regard to any of the issues that are on the action agenda? Remember, this is just for questions that will help you to decide whether to have it taken off for a vote. Any questions?
Yes, on 8.1, Mr. Chair, the language is, we're opening up a door here, and the language is rather broad. It simply says use REIT 1 and 2 funds could be used for operations and maintenance of existing capital projects. There's no specificity. I think I know why we're bringing this forward. We have more precise language than that. You see where I'm going?
Yeah. So the resolution, I don't know if you read the resolution.
Yeah, I did read the resolution.
Okay. So statute does have a limit on how much of the REIT. And so what you're looking for is how we're spending it?
I'm looking for the particular project, why we're bringing this forward. I would assume is for the Belfair sewer system.
No, it is not.
Okay.
This is for the operation and maintenance, and it's generally parks. Maintenance is how we have budgeted that monies. And so the resolution is a statutory requirement to accompany that budget. We already had budgeted $20,000. I think it was $20,000 for Parks O&M.
I can't remember.
Okay.
That's my error then. I'm sorry.
Pardon me?
That's my error. That satisfies my question. I thought it was
okay?
for, yeah, I thought it was for.
Yeah, no, not Belfair Sewer.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that I spent probably 4 years of my life fighting this very thing as a realtor lobbyist.
It was the idea of using that money for parks and stuff like that.
For maintenance as
not
opposed to
that, yeah.
capital construction.
Yeah. With that being said, is there anybody else that has any questions in regards to any of the issues that are on the agenda? Hearing none, is any questions, commissioners? Is there any items that anybody would like taken off for a separate vote? Commissioners, any items taken off for a separate vote?
No.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we would approve items 8.1 through 8.9 in today's action agenda.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
It has been moved and seconded for the approval of the action agendas, items number 8.1 through 8.9. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, the action agenda passes. We will move on now to item number 9, but there are no public hearings, so item 10, other business, department heads or elected officials. Are there any department heads who would like to speak at this time on any issue? Yes, Mr. Keats.
Morning, Commissioners. John Keats, Parks and Facilities. I just again want to get up and give a thank you to some community groups for assistance. Oddly enough, we're talking about volunteers here. This wasn't a complete volunteer effort, but last Thursday we had a project done out at Sunset Bluff Park. It was a planting where previously was infested by blackberries. So we got the plants from the Conservation District. The 4-H helped us kind of project manage and put together a planting plan and so on and so forth. And then really getting a little out of the box, we used the football team as the labor to do the planting under the tutelage of the 4-H. And actually worked pretty good. We got an ecology grant to do the work. So in the end it was kind of nice because we got our project done, and the funding we had for it actually goes right kind of back into the community to the football team for a fundraiser. So project's done, and just appreciate all the help. So
that's a perfect example of the type of thing we're going to miss when you, when you leave. For those who don't know, John has accepted a position with the brand new City of Bothell Parks and Recreation District, and so he goes to start up a whole new program there. Is Sunset Bluff open now?
Yeah.
It is open to the public. Are there temporary restrooms there?
we actually have a vault toilet up there.
Okay. And access to the water is available?
You can get the water. It's a little bit of an effort. We still need to get in there and build an access ramp down, but you can get there. You just have to be a little hardy to get there. There is 1,500 feet of waterfront there, so that's something we really want to get done.
Another true gem. Commissioner Sheldon was a big part of having that happen, and well, thank you. That's just a gem of a park.
Now, whenever we lose somebody close to us, we always are hopeful that they go on to a better place. And I don't know that it'll be a better place, but it's a closer place to his new wife.
There's Mr. Chairman, there was an article in the Seattle Times yesterday about the City of Bothell and a new park. Perhaps it's part of the capital budget request here in Olympia. So, John, you might check the Seattle Times. You might be working on that project as you head up that way.
So out of being thankful for all he's done, you're going to help that one to get through for him? Being thankful for all the work he's done, you're going to help that project to get passed through in that budget?
Absolutely. Yeah, I know John's going there. I know it'll be in good hands.
Under Sheriff.
Yes, thank you. Under Sheriff Barrett. Again, I want to echo what other people have said about our volunteers in the Sheriff's Office. It was alluded to earlier that we run probably 40-plus volunteers, which is, probably almost the third largest group of employees in the agency or the county here. And the Sheriff's Advisory Group, though they're not necessarily volunteers, they certainly come in, they take their time, and they mull over and tell us their ideas on things, and most of them are, they've been around life for a while, so their experience is very helpful. Again, to John Keats, over the years, and all the facility projects alone in the Sheriff's Office and his work there, without his calm, cool nature, I don't think my warm and fuzzy disposition would have worked out so well, but he's been a great guy, and I wish him the best. And the last is a young lady sitting over there. She informed us yesterday that she has a future endeavor coming down the pike for her, and she's going to be with us the past 2 weeks. Though the press typically is responsible for holding people accountable in government and the sheriff's office, we've had our professional debates, but she's always been very respectful and professional. I wish you the best. Thank you.
We're going to go a little bit off of our normal standard, and instead of asking somebody to speak, we're actually going to call somebody up. Natalie, would you please come up and to the podium and lead the talk?
No, you were
Where's
not.
your camera? I gotta get a picture of you.
Only because I like you guys.
As was said, Natalie will be leaving our area soon. She's off to a great adventure. I'd like, if you don't mind, can you tell everybody what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, I don't mind. I'm gonna be going to the Centralia Chronicle, probably beginning of next month. Don't have a date set yet, but I'll be at the Journal for a couple more weeks. So it's been great working with you guys.
Breaks
So.
my heart.
And her
I'm
title,
sorry.
though? Wait,
Oh, I'll be the crime reporter.
Get away from this boring.
See, it wasn't just me. Everybody's faces did the same thing.
It's
See
not
that?
boring. I do that here though. I cover crime for the Journal.
Yeah,
It's just not my only thing. So anyway,
congratulations.
thank you.
I think you brought a level of journalism, such a high level of journalism to the Journal, and I appreciate
thank
it
you.
very much. And I appreciate the extra energy you've had on getting some of the county business in there. And we're just very, very grateful to the work you've done for getting
Thank
our
you.
information out
Well,
there.
I appreciate having a good relationship with everybody here, and I'm sure whoever comes next is going to do a great job. And so,
Commissioner Sheldon, do you have anything?
Yes, Natalie, it's first I heard that you're leaving, and we'll miss you. Thank you very much for all the professionalism you brought to the job, and I know that you cared very much about the people and the things that you reported on, so that always showed in what you wrote. So thank you very much for everything.
thank you.
Natalie, good luck on your next endeavor, and may it bring you the happiness and enjoyment that we all hope any of our jobs would help you find the fulfillment you need.
Thank you.
And a Pulitzer Prize.
Yeah, there you go.
Good luck.
I'll work on it.
Good
Thanks.
luck. Is there anybody else who would wish to speak to the commission at this time? Or any other elected officials or department heads? Hearing none, we will move on to our board reports and calendars. Commissioner Sheldon?
Yes, if I could go first, I'd appreciate that.
Please.
And I'm going to go out on the floor, but I'll be in Olympia coming up this next week as well. We hope to adjourn sine die, which is close of business on April 26th, so we're driving towards that deadline. If I could, I'll just mention a couple things that we hope to do today in the legislature, which is pass the capital budget. As you know, we did not pass the capital budget last year, and the capital budget pays for our state's infrastructure. Basically, in this capital budget coming up, we have, I think, almost 2,600 new classrooms to be funded. I think the total cost of the capital budget this year is somewhere around 2.7 or 2.9 billion dollars. So it's a big expenditure, much of it paid for with bonds. I'll just go through a couple things that are in the capital budget that relate directly to Mason County. And of course, these have to be voted on today. I anticipate that they'll survive this round here at the Senate. Then it'll go to the conference committee with the House of Representatives, and then hopefully on to the governor's office for a signature. But I'll just list you some of the things that are here for Mason County at this point. There's $400,000 to renovate the senior center at the old Moose Lodge out at Century Pavilion. There's $1.5 million for the city of Shelton for their Basin 3 sewer rehabilitation project. And there's also $1.5 million for the Mason County Belfair wastewater system rate relief. And that money, as I understand it, is very flexible, can be used to pay down debt or for expenses that we have. There is, reading through here quite a bit, about $7 million, just over $7 million for the Washington Correction Center. There's roof repairs, equipment replacement, some transformers and switches, some electrical work, and also some preservation work out there. So that's, extension of Coulter Creek for the public for a new park out there. I think it's 35 acres we have now. This $1 million appropriation from the Recreation and Conservation Funding Board through the capital budget will purchase about 60 more acres along Case Inlet. There's a couple down in Longview that are to the cellar, but it'll provide water access, trails, passive recreation, and just a very, very nice facility that could someday tie in with other facilities that we have, not only by water, but by trails as well. And let's see, a couple other things. I hope that former Commissioner Bloomfield is still there. There's $4 million in the capital budget to improve shellfish growing areas that the state has and provide more shellfish for the public and all the users and access. I'm not sure how much of that will go to Mason County, but I think the lion's share of that $4 million will. There's some match for other federal programs for DNR and such, and there's $4.6 million for the Ells Springs hatchery along the Skokomish River. That's being augmented by the state for chum production. So those are just a few of the items that are in the capital budget, and hopefully we'll get that out the door today.
Thank you very much for your work, Commissioner.
Thank you. And hey, before you go, I'm going to be announcing later that I will be down in Olympia for the reception on Wednesday and the Ledge Day on Thursday.
Great.
So that we will
Right.
be in the same place.
Look
there.
forward to it. I'm going to have to go. Thank you very much, though.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You bet.
So last week, let's see, I had on Wednesday the 8th, the Memorial Hall Committee meeting. I attended the Olympia Region Clean Air Authority Board and Habitat for Humanity Finance Committee meeting. I met with Scott Brewer from the Hood Canal Coordinating Council and Patty Mishak to look at the Irene Pond acquisition and cleanup that was done as mitigation for some wetland damage that was being done through the Belfair widening. And it's one of those wonderful projects that the property had become a public nuisance with some drug parties going on and lots of garbage and whatnot, and it all got cleaned up and the neighbors are extremely happy. It was a win-win. It provides that buffer to the wetland that's so necessary in the urban growth area, so we can still build now. Also attended some of the meeting or a training session on how the state is changing the monitoring requirements for putting a stream on the 303D polluted waters list and how they can take it off. And then congratulations to Kevin Cronquist for the rebranding of his real estate office. I attended that ribbon cutting. It's now Berkshire Hathaway, the old Prudential Northwest. I did a tour of the Simpson Lumber Company's Mill 5 and 3 and talked to them about the futures of those mills, etc. And then met with our Conservation District Director, John Bolander, on a couple projects that he's suggesting that they help the county with, and I'm very interested in those. And then Saturday was a walking tour and a walking audit of the downtown Shelton area as part of the visioning process being organized by and paid for by the City of Shelton, the Chamber of Commerce, area businesses, to see what can be done to make a more walkable and revitalized downtown community. It was followed up with a discussion, and then there will be some conceptual designs being presented by Methuen Architects, which is a really well-respected firm on downtown revitalization projects. I'm very excited about this whole thing, and they're simple little things. It's not going to be real spendy, but they're very simple things. With even the city administrator had shared that there's a $50,000 cost to replacing some mechanisms in the walking lot, in the street walk, crosswalk lights, that could maybe reinvested just to slow down the traffic in that area, which would make that light not necessary. And so there's some simple things we can do to reinvest the monies in the right places. Had briefings yesterday, and then following today's meeting, we will have a meeting of the MACECOM. Then I'll be meeting with Patty Kleiss from Faith in Action on some of the monies that are used for energy assistance, and then Habitat for Humanity Board. And then the Criminal Justice Working Team on Wednesday the 15th, and then I'm going to actually go down to San Francisco to celebrate my birthday this weekend. Back here for briefings.
Let's see. I did attend the Safeco Field with my granddaughter, and it was wonderful watching her sing up there on the big screen. It was pretty awesome, and the Mariners got whooped. So, but it still made up for it. It's all right. Port Valley meeting. I attended a meeting of the Democratic Party. They asked me to go along with the auditor and the treasurer to put together a panel to speak about the welfare wastewater funding options. Meeting with some contractors on different things that we could maybe do to help building our communities, and also looking at our comprehensive plan. Union City, again, I went there for their meeting, and they're celebrating 153 years, I think is what it is. I met with Jim Darling and the Port of Shelton chair in regards to different things and opportunities that we may have to work together with the ports, the cities, and the counties. This issue that we have with Olympic Panel is rough for the community when you look at it, but remembering, you know, whenever change occurs, there's always an opportunity for doing something else that may be more beneficial. And this gentleman, Jim Darling, I worked with him with the Ports Association. He's fantastic, and he's a man that thinks outside the box that way and sees it as an opportunity, and wants to get a little deeper into seeing what options might be able to be brought here if that becomes a reality and it becomes empty for the time. But again, he showed me examples of things that have really turned around and been great. One of the ones that he didn't show me that I remember is the Port of Bellingham. If anybody ever saw their waterfront and the stuff they had done out there, and the changes, oh my gosh, you know, talk about making lemonade out of lemons. That's pretty impressive. I had a legislative steering committee webinar. It was going for like 2 hours, and trying to watch my little phone, it's tough. But what makes it worse is when I'm driving and doing it. But I try not to do that.
Please don't.
Economic Development Council meeting, regulatory subcommittee meeting for our building regulation stuff, our regular briefings. I've been doing some work with a retention and trying to think of this as the actual term for it. We're trying to bring in more businesses, but one of the things they're focusing on right now is bringing in people to build multifamily homes. They're putting together flyers and stuff and sending them out to the different contractors. This is the EDC is the subcommittee, but David Overton is actually the chair of it, and putting together all the materials and send them out with the EDC. So all the different contractors, all the different companies will get this, and we're going to try and have an open house. Try and bring them in and really take advantage of this opportunity. You know, this is different than everybody else has, and there sure seems to be a lot of interest. I just hope we can really truly capitalize on it. It'll help us in so many different ways. I met with people again throughout the community on our issues with the sewer. Next week, today, Hood Canal Coordinating Council meeting. I have tomorrow a North Mason Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors meeting. Legislative reception, as I announced earlier. I also have the West Sound Alliance. I have a legislative day all on Thursday. I'll be there all day long. I have to be in Seattle this week to go visit the EPA. It is so amazing to me. You have a government entity, and it's almost impossible to get to for the people to get to it. I had to drive around the last time for about an hour and a half before I could finally find some place to park. It is, of all places, if you're going to be for the government, you'd think it'd be a little accessible, but that's my whine for the day, because I'm so not looking forward to doing this again, going down there.
Federal building?
Yeah, it's a federal building, and then to make it worse, you have to sit there and go through like the airport and everything else, and take off your shoes, and this is for the EPA. Now, I
Take the
understand.
ferry and walk.
I understand they have made some people mad, so I can understand a little bit. Let's see, I also have our Association of Counties Health group. Let's see, we have back for regular briefings, and that seems to be it for the moment.
Great.
With that being said, is there any other business to come before this board? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
We are adjourned. Have a great day, everybody.
Oh, forgot to announce.